Hey all, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. I'm Agent Mischief. Today we left the town of Lothering, and we're going to go check on Redcliffe. But before we do that, we're probably gonna check on our buddies around the camp, talk to everybody that we can. Yeah, gotta get some more approval rating in there.
What do you need?
I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
What can a Templar do exactly?
Essentially, they're trained to fight. The Chantry would tell you that the Templars exist simply to defend. But don't let them fool you. They're an army. The other main purpose for a Templar is, of course, to hunt mages. To that end, we train in talents that drain mana and disrupt spells.
The Templars use magic themselves.
You could call it that, sure. The Chantry doesn't look on it the same way, however, since really our talents only work on mages. Against a regular person, I'm just a guy in a metal suit.
So couldn't others learn these talents?
Perhaps, but there usually isn't much of an opportunity. The Chantry keeps a close rein on its Templars. We are given lyrium to help develop our magical talents, you see. Which means we become addicted. And since the Chantry controls the lyrium trade with the dwarves, well, I'm sure you can put two and two together.
That's horrible. I can't believe they would do that.
Well, they do it, and they feel perfectly justified. You don't need lyrium in order to learn the Templar talents. Lyrium just makes Templars' talents more effective. Or so I was told. Maybe it doesn't even do that. The Chantry usually doesn't let their Templars get away either, so they can spread their secrets. I'm a bit of an exception. Lucky me. What do you need?
I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
Tell me about the Grey Wardens.
Such as they are.
Where are the nearest Grey Wardens from here?
That's a good question. There's plenty in Orlais, but who knows where they might be found. And the nearest Orlesian city is weeks away. If we go north and cross the sea, there's bound to be some in the free marches. Again, however, I just don't know where. I don't know anything about Grey Wardens in other lands.
Is there a headquarters somewhere?
Here in Ferelden, there's our compound in Denerim at the palace, but that's it. Loghain will have control over that and be watching it, no doubt. Beyond that, the only place I know of is Weishaupt Fortress. That's the headquarters of all Grey Wardens in the Anderfelds, 1,000 miles from here. But I've no idea how to even contact them. So unless we try to get back to the compound in Denerim, I suppose the answer is no. There's nowhere for us to go.
Lovely. Just lovely. So what happens now there's just two of us?
I imagine that eventually the Grey Wardens outside of Ferelden will wonder what's happened. Why there's no contact from Duncan or someone. They'll send someone eventually. Though who knows what Loghain's people in Denerim will tell them. Maybe they won't send anyone. We could try to contact them. But that would mean leaving Ferelden, and even if we did, they couldn't come back with us in time to stop the Blight. So that means whatever happens, it's up to us.
We need to start rebuilding the Order.
I mean, eventually we would have to use the joining to make more Grey Wardens. But I don't know how to do the joining, or what's involved. I know it involves lyrium and some other magic, and that it's really difficult to prepare, but that's it. Unless we can find out more about the joining, I guess we better get used to the idea that there might only be two of us for now. Until more come from elsewhere.
What would happen if we just left?
Just left? You mean just left Ferelden? I don't know. If there's an archdemon, however, we're supposed to be the only ones who can defeat it. And that means the Blight would grow unchecked. Eventually, other Grey Wardens in Orlais and other lands would hear about it, and they would come to fight it, but they wouldn't come in time to save Ferelden. There's no way. I'm not going anywhere.
I have no more questions.
About the Grey Wardens, anyhow. Fair enough. What do you need? Ask away.
You teach others to be a Templar.
I suppose I could. But I really would rather not.
Understood.
When the Grand Cleric let Duncan recruit me, she made me swear never to reveal Templar secrets outside of the Chantry. I'd rather not go back on my word.
Very well, I'll respect your word.
Ask me later, perhaps. Maybe I'll change my mind. This is not something small you're asking, after all. Something on your mind?
Has anyone ever told you how handsome you are?
Not unless they were asking me for a favor. Well, there was that one time in Denerim that those women were not like you. Why? Is this your way of telling me you think I'm handsome?
You know you're handsome, Alistair.
Maybe. It doesn't hurt to have a pretty girl say that, though. Beats being run through with a sword any day.
I should think so.
Is this the part where I get to say the same?
That would be nice.
Oh, well, I'll think about it then. Sometime soon, I'm sure.
Dork.
At your service.
I have some questions.
Of course.
So how did you become a Grey Warden?
Same way you did. You drink some blood, you choke on it, and pass out. You haven't forgotten already, have you?
I mean, before that.
Let's see. I was in the Chantry before. I trained for many years to become a Templar, in fact. That's where I learned most of my skills.
What skills might those be?
Well, it wasn't an easy life, you know. I don't know whether or not you've noticed, but I'm not exactly the Chantry type. The Grand Cleric didn't want to let me go. Duncan was forced to conscript me, actually, and was she ever furious when he did. I thought she was going to have us both arrested. I was lucky.
Why did the Grand Cleric want to keep you?
I wondered that myself. It's not as if she valued me highly. I think she just didn't want to give anything to the Grey Wardens, is all. The Chantry didn't lose much. And I think I can do more fighting the Blight anyhow, rather than sitting in a temple somewhere. I'll always be thankful to Duncan for recruiting me. If it hadn't been for him, you know, I wouldn't have.
He was a good man.
He was. A good man who didn't deserve his fate. That much I'm sure of. Come on, let's go. I think I'm done talking.
How much approval do we have with him now, anyways? Oh, 30. Nice.
At your service.
I have some questions.
Of course.
So you said Arleman raised you.
Did I say that? I meant that dogs raised me. Giant slobbering dogs from the Anderfells. A whole pack of them, in fact.
Really? That must have been tough for them.
Well, they were flying dogs, you see. Surprisingly strict parents, too. And devout Andrastians to boot.
That is what they say about Anders.
That, and that they make a great deal of cheese. Funny, but the dogs never mention cheese. As a matter of fact, if you said cheese around them, they'd start growling. Isn't that odd? Or did I dream all of that? Funny the dreams you'll have when you sleep on the cold, hard ground, isn't it? Are you having strange dreams?
Only ones where the world is threatened by darkspawn.
Point taken. Let's see, how do I explain this? I'm a bastard. And before you make any smart comments, I mean the fatherless.
Morgan.
My mother was a serving girl in Redcliffe Castle who died when I was very young. Arleman wasn't my father, but he took me in anyhow and put a roof over my head. He was good to me, and he didn't have to be. I respect the man, and I don't blame him anymore for sending me off to the Chantry once I was old enough.
Why did he send you off to the Chantry?
Arleman eventually married a young woman from Orlais, which caused all sorts of problems between him and the king because it was so soon after the war. But he loved her. Anyhow, Then you, Arlessa, resented the rumors which pegged me as his bastard. They weren't true, but of course they existed. The Isle didn't care, but she did.
Of course.
So off I was packed to the nearest monastery at age 10. Just as well. The Arlessa made sure the castle wasn't a home to me by that point. She despised me.
What an awful thing to do to a child.
Maybe. She felt threatened by my presence, I can see that now. I can't say I blame her. She wondered if the rumors were true herself, I bet. I remember I had an amulet with Andraste's holy symbol on it. The only thing I had of my mother's. I was so furious at being sent away, I tore it off and threw it at the wall and it shattered. Stupid, stupid thing to do. The Isle came by the monastery a few times to see how I was, but I was stubborn. I hated it there, and blamed him for everything. And eventually, he just stopped coming.
You were young.
And raised by dogs. Or I may as well have been, the way I acted. But maybe all young bastards act like that. I don't know. All I know is that the Arl is a good man, and well loved by the people. He also was King Caelan's uncle, so he has a personal motivation to see Logain pay for what he did. Anyway, that's really all there is to the story.
I'm not done talking to you,
Service.
mister. I have some questions.
Of course.
Why have you ever made a Templar if you hate the Chantry?
Have you seen the uniform? It's not only stylish, but well made. I'm a sucker for good tailoring.
Oh, I don't think I've seen you wearing it.
I keep it hidden under my pillow. Sometimes I'll take it out just so I can hug it fondly and remember the good old days. Brings a tear to the eyes, you know.
So this is where you deflect questions with humor, right?
I'd use my shield if I could, but I think you might actually spot me hiding behind it. You don't really want to know about my being a Templar, do you? It's really quite boring.
I do really want to know, yes.
Poke, poke, poke. Tell me everything about your life, Alistair. All right? If you
I want to
insist,
know everything
not
about
like
you,
have anything
sir.
better to do, right? The truth of the matter is that I did hate going to the monastery. The initiates from poor families thought I put on airs, while the noble ones called me a bastard and ignored me. I felt like
Bastard.
Ian had cast me off unwanted, and I was determined to be bitter. But I took some solace in the training itself, I guess. I was actually quite good at it.
What did you enjoy about the training?
The education, mostly, but also the discipline. You need to have a disciplined mind in order to use the abilities we have. It was difficult, but rewarding. I never really felt at home anywhere, though, until I joined the Grey Wardens. And Duncan felt my Templar abilities might be useful for when we encountered Darkspawn magic, so I kept it up. What about you? Do you have anywhere you consider home?
I guess my home is the Grey Wardens now, with you.
Really? I guess I like the sound of that.
Of course
won't
you
always
do.
be
Look at
traveling
you.
like this, you know.
You're starting to
Once
have a
the
little
war is
crush.
over, once the Blight is... Well, a time will come when we'll have to think about having a real home again. Although that seems like a far ways off. And I suppose the Grey Wardens are gone for good. Either way.
They can be rebuilt.
I suppose you're right. We can create new Grey Wardens, but we'll never get back those we lost. I wonder if it would ever feel the same. Anyhow, now I've sidetracked us. We'd better get back to what we're supposed to be doing right now.
How much approval do we have with him now? Ooh, 35. Nice. We'll stick these here for now. May give him the great sword later. I'll think about it. We'll talk with him some more later. I know there's more questions to ask him. Hello, Bubby.
Oh, why, you little...
What? What?
Your furry friend here took offense at me getting near his food. He snapped at me, look.
Bad dog. That's not very nice. You can't be mean to our boyfriend. My boyfriend.
I once heard a really old legend about how the hound warriors in the days of the old tribes would feed their Mabari the flesh of the vanquished. Well, that's what I heard anyway. It would sometimes be human flesh.
Is it all gonna throw up on Alistair?
Well, you know, maybe you've already been fed something. Someone.
I've never fed you another human being.
It's not cannibalism if he's eating it, you know.
Alistair with the dog. Oh, shit. I'm gonna give the dog some treats. Oh, maybe later then. I thought it was like a gift. It's fucking killing me. Sorry if it bothers anyone that we're spending this time just goofing around and talking to our friends, but I don't care. Like, that's what we're doing.
Yes?
I'd like to talk.
Well, here I am.
That vision of yours.
I knew this would come up sooner or later. I don't know how to explain, but I had a dream. In it, there was an impenetrable darkness. It was so dense, so real. And there was a noise, a terrible, ungodly noise. I stood on a peak and watched as the darkness consumed everything. And when the storm swallowed the last of the sun's light, I fell, and the darkness drew me in.
You dreamed of the Blight?
I suppose I did. That was what the darkness was, no? When I woke, I went to the Chantry's gardens, as I always do. But that day, the rose bush in the corner had flowered. Everyone knew that bush was dead. It was grey and twisted and gnarled, the ugliest thing you ever saw. But there it was, a single beautiful rose. It was as though the Maker stretched out his hand to say, even in the midst of this darkness, there is hope and beauty. Have faith.
This made you want to help me?
In my dream, I fell, or maybe I jumped. I'd do anything to stop the Blight. I know that we can do it. There are so many good things in the Maker's world. How can I sit by while the Blight devours everything?
I suppose I couldn't sit by either.
That is why you're a Grey Warden. Come, there's a Blight to stop. Yes?
I'd like to talk.
Well, here I am.
What was life like in the Chantry Cloister?
Quiet. It was a life suited for contemplation. In the cloister, away from the fuss and the flurry of the cities, I found peace. And in that stillness, I could hear the Maker. But it was not perfect. Some of my Chantry fellows were condescending. That is the nature of religious folk, I suppose.
Condescending, how so?
When I talked about my beliefs, that the Maker reveals himself in the beauty of his world, they treated me with disdain. They want to believe that he's gone, so that when he turns his gaze on them, it means they are special, chosen. He cannot possibly have love for all, the sick and the weary, the beggars and the fools.
I prefer your ideas to the ideas of the Chantry.
Thank you. Maybe I am wrong. But it is the Maker's place to decide if I am worthy, not men, not the Chantry. But there is work to be done, and I have talked enough for now.
No, you haven't.
Yes?
I'd like to talk.
Well, here I am.
What would someone like you be doing in the Lothering Chantry?
What is meant by someone like me?
They don't teach you how to fight in the cloister, do they?
Did you think I was always a cloistered sister? The Chantry provides succor and safe harbor to all who seek it. I chose to stay and become affirmed.
So your skills were learned before your time in the Chantry?
I was a traveling minstrel in Orlais. Tales and songs were my life. I performed, and they rewarded me with applause and coin. And my skill in battle? Well, you pick up different skills when you travel, yes? Yes, of course. Let's move on.
Alright, I think that's about all we can talk with her about. I want to see the dog talk to Alistair some more, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. We'll talk to Sten in a second.
Ah, it's good to see you, my timely rescuer. Bodon Fenny, at your service once again. I saw your camp and thought to myself, what safer place to rest for the evening than in the camp of a Grey Warden? I'm perfectly willing to offer you a fine discount for the inconvenience of our presence. How does that sound? Good? Yes?
Let me see your wares, Bodon.
I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
You could buy more doggy food. That would be good to have for later. Oh. Well, we'll come back for some of that stuff later. Let's give these prezzies to our friends. You can have this stick. Oh, never mind. The Grey Warden hand puppet. Did I give him the stick, or did it just not show up? I want to see how he feels about the Grey Warden hand puppet. He could have the stick. do you feel with the Grey Warden hand puppet?
I could get used to this, you know.
Whoa, plus 50. God damn. This is because I have the DLC.
Great. Super. Thanks.
Ah, fuck. Yeah, we're gonna load the game again. Can have a stick. Alistair can have. Oh, did I not buy the thing that? Fuck.
I could get used to this, you know.
There we go. Let's save. So I don't have to go through all that again. Monster approval plus 50. Alright, what would Morgan like? The Alistair doll?
I am grateful. 'Tis thoughtful indeed.
She probably would just like to do voodoo shit with him, which is fine, I guess. Yana. Fat loot.
That's a wonderful thought. I don't know what to say.
I am impressed. My
Dead.
thanks.
Alright. We'll still be talking to Sten and them. We're gonna be fast friends, I think.
You are not quite as callow as I thought. That is unexpected.
Thanks, I guess.
You're welcome.
Why'd you come to Ferelden?
I was sent to be the eyes of the Antom. The Arishok asked, "What is the Blight?" By his curiosity, I am now here.
Then you have to report back then?
Yes,
When are you going to do that?
never. I cannot go home.
Why not?
It doesn't matter now. Can we move on? We keep the dark spawn waiting.
What were you doing in that cage?
Does it matter? Very well. I caged myself. A weak mind is a deadly foe, as you are no doubt aware.
You saying you put yourself in that cage?
I know that my failures were my own. I came to your lands with 7 of the Beresad, my brothers, to seek answers about the Blight. We made our way across the Ferelden countryside without incident, seeing nothing of the threat we were sent to observe. Until the night we camped by Lake Callanhad. They came from everywhere. The earth beneath our feet, the air above us. Our own shadows harbored the darkspawn. I saw the last of the creatures cut down, too late. I fell.
What happened to the other Kunari?
I am told no others survived. I don't know how long I lay on the battlefield among the dead, nor do I know how the farmers found me. I only know that when I woke, I was no longer among my brothers, and my sword was gone from my hand.
What did you do?
I searched for it, and when that failed, I asked my rescuers what had become of it.
Do the farmers know where it is?
They said they found me with nothing.
Did you believe them?
I did. I knew they didn't have the blade. They had no reason to lie to me. I panicked. Unthinking, I struck them down.
You panicked over a lost blade?
That sword was made for my hand alone. I have carried it from the day I was set into the Beresard. I was to die wielding it for my people. Even if I could cross Ferelden and Tevinter unarmed and alone to bring my report to the Arishok, I would be slain on sight by the Antam. They would know me as soulless, a deserter. No soldier would cast aside his blade while he drew breath.
Accidents happen.
I'm sure that comforts the farmers.
How can your people possibly think that way?
We know who we are, and what we are meant to be.
Where'd you fight the Darkspawn?
Near Lake Callanhad.
Don't worry, we'll find it.
Perhaps those words are empty, but thank you all the same.
Let's go talk to Morrigan. We have like almost no time here to actually play. I don't care.
Are you sure I can't interest you in this hat? A pair of earrings, perhaps? A cheese knife?
You see your wares.
I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
I'm gonna sell that back, because that seemed to hurt Alistair's feelings. But yeah. Other than that, let's go talk to Morrigan.
I await your command.
I'd like to ask you something.
So, full of questions, are you?
How did you become a shapeshifter?
I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
It does sound like something you do.
Oh, I truly doubt that children would be worth the effort. They are filthy, smelly things full of tears and snot and trouble. That said, I cannot speak for the tastes of my mother. She has, after all, lived a very lengthy time in the wilds and done many things I know nothing of. Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
Can you change into other human forms as well?
The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
Can anyone become a shapeshifter?
Anyone with sufficient will, but the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell and thus requires a mage's talents. If you had a notion to learn such a skill for yourself, sadly, you must remain disappointed.
You spend a lot of time as an animal?
There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
What do other animals think of you when you're changed?
They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
I never heard of magic like that before.
No? 'Tis not unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the circle of magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down as carefully guarded lore from one generation to the next. The zealots of the chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could, but as luck have it, some still exist. My mother is such a one.
That's good. Such traditions need to be preserved.
I am surprised you think so. Still, 'tis a pleasant thing to hear.
That's all I wanted to ask.
Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch?
I think your abilities sound quite useful.
A most practical opinion. Far more so than any man I have spoken to. But enough of such talk. Let us proceed, lest the dust gather on us. I await your command.
So life in the wilds must have been very lonely.
At times, perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign to me. If I wished companionship, I ran with the wolves and flew with the birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees.
That sounds wonderful.
For a time, but one can only remain a child for so long. I recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments, the likes of which I had never before seen. I was dazzled. This, to me, seemed what true wealth and beauty must be. I snuck up behind her and stole a hand mirror from the carriage. 'Twas encrusted in gold and crystalline gemstones, and I hugged it to my chest with delight as I sped back to the wilds.
What happened then?
Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken.
But you were just a child.
And a foolish one. Flemeth was right to break me of my fascination. Beauty and love are fleeting and have no meaning. Survival has meaning. Power has meaning. Without those lessons, I would not be here today, as difficult as they might have been.
But you don't have to live that way any longer.
Do I not? I am still an apostate mage, even if I have left the wilds. The Darkspawn are yet undefeated. No, there is much that remains. To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely, but such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality.
So what's everyone's approval ratings now? Dog still at 100. 87 for Al. 73 for Morgan. 54 for Liliana. 56 for Sten. Alright. I'm so happy that we get to be closer with Morgan now. I do love her. She's awesome. I'm very cranky that you can't romance her without mods. And I don't know how to install the mods properly on the Steam version, damn it. I'm not saying I'd romance her over Alistair, but I am very interested in her as a person. She's cool.
Hello. The boy's a bit simple, but he's rather good with enchantments. One of those tranquil fellas actually called him a... what was he now? A savant. I had no idea such a thing existed.
What enchantment does he do?
He can fold lyrium into almost any weapon or piece of armor, though naturally some of the more extravagant materials will take more lyrium than others. It's a process that some of the master smiths back in Orzammar will perform, but my boy here is just as adept at it. Isn't that right, boy?
Enchantment!
And there you have it.
I want to see some enchanting done.
Enchantment!
Oh, I don't have anything to enchant with? Well, fine. That kind of sucks, actually. Do we have any gear I could give to everyone? We're gonna at least need some more armor. I doubt it's cold resistant. Look at her. She's got no shoes though. And he's got no shoes. Oh no, there's some boots. Morgan doesn't have enough strength for shoes. Mood. Now hang on, let's save first. Just in case. And I need to figure out how mods work so that I can get the extra dog slot for my party.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Yes.
God. We'll get the Soldier's Peak eventually, I'm sure. These places are so shiny and new. We'll go to Red Cliff. For like 10 minutes. Yeah, it's a good thing I saved. Morgan barefoot, it's killing me. Okay, well I guess there wasn't a fight there, so what was the point? Ooh, look, some elf fruit.
Look, can we talk for a moment? I need to tell you
course.
something. I should probably have told you earlier.
What's in your mind?
I told you before how Al Eamon raised me, right? That my mother was a serving girl at the castle and he took me in. The reason he did that was because, well, because my father was King Marek, which made Kaelin my half-brother, I suppose.
So you're not just a bastard, but a royal bastard?
Ha! Yes, I guess it does at that. I should use that line more often. I would have told you, but it never really meant anything to me. I was inconvenient, a possible threat to Kaelin's rule, and so they kept me secret. I'd never talked about it to anyone. Everyone who knew either resented me for it or they coddled me. Even Duncan kept me out of the fighting because of it. I didn't want you to know as long as possible. I'm sorry.
I think I understand.
Oh, good. I'm glad. It's not like I got special treatment for it anyhow. At any rate, that's it. That's what I had to tell you. I thought you should know about it.
You're the heir to the throne, then?
Let's hope not. I'm the son of a commoner and a Grey Warden to boot. It was made very clear to me early on that there was no room for me raising any rebellions or such nonsense. And that's fine by me. Now, if there's an heir to be found, it's Arl Eamon himself. He's not of royal blood, but he is Kaelin's uncle, and more importantly, very popular with the people. Though, if he's really as sick as we've heard, oh no, I don't want to think about that. I really don't. So there you have it. Now can we move on? And I'll just pretend you still think I'm some nobody who was too lucky to die with the rest of the Grey Wardens.
And what does that make me?
The reason I think we have a chance of setting things right.
Yeah, not much of a map yet.
I thought I saw travelers coming down the road, though I scarcely believed it. Have you come to help us?
For important business, I need to see Arl Eamon.
You are? Then you don't know. Has nobody out there heard?
I've heard Arl Eamon is sick, if that's what you mean.
He could be dead for all we know. Nobody's heard from the castle in days. We're under attack. Monsters come out of the castle every night and attack us until dawn. Everyone's been fighting and dying.
Apparently everyone seems to agree that a blight is the perfect time to start killing each other. Marvelous, really.
We've no army to defend us. No Arl and no king to send us help. So many are dead. And those left are terrified they're next.
Hold on, what is this evil that's attacking you?
I don't rightly know. I'm sorry, nobody does. I should take you to Ban Tegan. He's all that's holding us together. He'll want to see you.
Ban Tegan, Arl Eamon's brother. He's here.
Yes. It's not far, if you'll come with me.
Who are these people with you? They're obviously not
Morgan,
simple
bare
travelers.
feet are just killing
No,
me.
my lord. They just arrived, and I thought you would want to see them.
Well done, Thomas. Greetings, friends. My name is Tegan, Ban of Rainersphere, brother to the Arl.
I remember you, Ban Tegan. Though the last time we met, I was a lot younger and covered in mud.
Covered in mud? Alistair?
He's like, there's only one person who could be covered in mud.
You're alive! This is wonderful news.
Still alive, yes. Though I'm just as surprised about that as you are, believe me.
Indeed. Loghain would have us believe all Grey Wardens died along with my nephew, amongst other things.
Why? What has Loghain said about us?
That Loghain pulled out his own men in order to save them. That Kaelin risked the entire nation's safety in the name of glory. Loghain calls the Grey Wardens traitors, murderers of the king. I don't believe it. It is an act of a desperate man. So, you are a Grey Warden as well? Is it possible we've met? You seem very familiar.
You may have known my father, Terran Kuzland.
Ah, yes, that's it, exactly. A pleasure to meet you indeed, though I wish it were under better circumstances. You're here to see my brother. Unfortunately, that might
I
be a
really
problem.
feel like
Human
this
is
game wants you to
gravely
play
wrong.
as the human
No
noble
one has
so
heard
bad.
from the castle in days.
Maybe
No
that's just
guards
me.
patrol the walls, and no one has responded to my shouts. The attack started a few nights ago.
I really feel that
Evil.
way though.
Things surged from the castle. We drove them back, but many perished during the assault.
I can help them drive you. I can help you drive them back.
How pointless to help these villagers fight an impossible battle. One would think we had enough to contend with elsewhere.
Thank you. Thank you. This means more to me than you can guess. Thomas, please tell Murdoch what transpired. Then return to your post.
Yes, my lord.
Now then, there is much to do before night falls. I put 2 men in charge of the defense outside. Murdoch, the village mayor, is outside the chantry. Sir Perth, one of Eamon's knights, is just up the cliff at the windmill, watching the castle. You may discuss with them the preparations for the coming battle.
I'm on my way.
Very well. Luck be with you, my friend.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say, of course she disapproves. Well, fine. I think we are going to be leaving things here. I know I spent most of that time just goofing around and talking to everybody, but we'll just call this episode an interlude or something. I just really wanted to talk with everybody and get to know them better, and it really paid off because I found out about the prizes you could get for everyone. I didn't find those last time. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, if you're enjoying the series, what have you, feel free to hit the like and subscribe buttons, maybe leave a comment, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye!